Hello and welcome to Shop Talk with Dan the Man. Today's video we're going to discuss this. This is RIDGID's SubCompact half-inch driver/drill. Stay tuned to find out more.
Hello, if you're new to this channel, my name is Dan Shannon. I enjoy woodworking as a hobby and being out in the shop. On this channel, dive deep into my shop as we explore tools and tool reviews, as well as chatting about everything related to woodworking. If this grabs you by the tool belt, please subscribe to my channel if you want more videos like this.
Hello and welcome to Shop Talk with Dan the Man. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, thanks for coming back. In today's video, we're going to jump into this. This is RIDGID's SubCompact half-inch drill/driver. And as you can see with the profile, it is quite a bit different than the original drill. This is Gen X5 series, and then this is their SubCompact. So you can see just kind of shot side by side, there is a large difference in overall format and just space that each product takes up. And we're going to jump into the features of this first, and then we'll jump into the hands-on. So let's set this old drill aside and we'll focus on the SubCompact. So this is model number R87012, and this is their SubCompact series. And let's dive into the specs on this. So what does it offer? And then we'll jump into the hands-on part of the video. And I want to make sure you realize each RIDGID tool that they sell, whether it's the older gen, newer gen, it doesn't matter, they use all the batteries. So whether you have an old battery or a current generation of their battery, the Table sells, they will all use on their tools, which is great because I know a lot of times I have older batteries because I have older tools, and then you buy something newer like this model. Do the batteries go back and forth? And the answer is yes, they do. So that's really good news. Let's jump in without further ado to the features. So features. Okay, so let's dive into the features on this SubCompact drill. So you notice the front here, we have your normal chuck that is just a spin to loosen the bit holder. So we just pull that back and then you can slide a bit in, and you do have a little carrying piece on the side. So you just take your bit that you're going to use and you just slide it in through the front 3 teeth, and then once that's locked in, you'll hear a little click as you heard there, and that means your bit is nice and loaded into the front of the drill. So from there we go back and you have your clutch. So if you're familiar with kind of your standard drill, you have different settings on your clutch. What that allows you to do right now, it's on drill setting. So if you're doing anything with a bit and you're cutting through metal, wood, different materials, plastic even, if you put it on the drill setting, it has full power and the clutch is not enabled. And what do I mean by that, if you're not familiar with drills, is if you put it to, say, setting, we'll do setting 2 on there, and that will break this. And when you pull the trigger, I'll just give you an example of it. So you're drilling, and then as soon as the screw is sunk far enough, it'll lock up and make this noise. That's normal. That is the clutch disengaging, so that's number 2. And of course, the higher you go in the number, the more aggressive the clutch will be. So of course, when you're doing a screw and you go to stop it, it'll take more force. So what's that handy for? If you're sinking screws into a board and you only want the screw to go down so far, you can set this and it will break off the power from the clutch. So your screw won't go all the way through the board. It'll actually turn the clutch on and you'll hear that noise, and that will mean that the screw won't go any further. So you can play around with that. I'd recommend you start off the lowest setting. When you're running a screw in, start the screw, and then of course when it stops and say the head's, you know, the 16th or so high, you can of course keep turning this until you get it to the right depth that you want on your board. So that's a really cool feature. I really like that on a drill driver. All right, so if we go back from that, you'll see there's a 2, and then if you flip it back, you'll see a 1. So basically, these are your 2 speed settings. So if you're driving a big leg bolt, or if you're taking a big, huge bit and you need to run it through the board, you'll change your speed ratio based on the product or the circumstance that you're diving into. All right, so from there, you'll just see the RIDGID brand, and then on the back side, you're going to be able to see a fan on the inside. If I turn it slow, you'll be able to see that spinning, hopefully. And before, they had brushes on the back. So you notice with my old one, see if I can get my old one here to give you an example. On the old one, it has a bigger case. It's on the back because they had the fan. They also had brushes that went in for the motor. And then as time went on, you had to remove the brushes and then, of course, you know, use the drill once you had new brushes installed. So the back end was quite a bit bigger. This is a brushless version, so there's no brushes in this one. But I just wanted to show you how big the back end was from the older generation, and they've definitely changed it with a smaller fan on the back. So yeah, I just wanted to give you a little preview of the difference between the drills there. But yeah, so you just got the back casing, SubCompact Brushless. This is nice strong material. It's got 4 screws if you ever need to get in there to work on anything. It's got lots of airflow, so the whole back end cap has lots of cutouts all the way around except for the bottom here. So there's lots of airflow circulating from the motor, and then you got some cutouts for the motor to breathe. See little vents all the way around. And then if you go down from there, you're going to notice there is a reverse and a forward, and then in the middle is a lockout. So if you have your tool lying around, or if you have it in a tool bag, you're going to want to switch it to the middle so that your trigger is locked out and it won't go on by accident when you have it in the tool bag and burn through the battery. Or you can just disconnect the battery, your preference. But yeah, you just toggle back and forth through that. That's kind of a standard RIDGID thing on all their tools. And as we go down further, you're going to notice the nice grip that RIDGID always has on their tools. Nice gray grip. This trigger is sensitive to speed, so it's a variable speed trigger. So obviously as you turn it slow and then of course increase your speed, it'll bring the motor up on the drill. So there's no speed adjustments on this particular tool. There might be some other models that will have 1, 2, and 3, but your speed adjustment is on the top for the 2 different modes. But I noticed with the newer ones, they do have a digital gauge on some of the products on the backhand side, like my impact driver that has a digital gauge on the back. So as we move down further, you're going to notice there's an LED light here on the front, which is really nice. So if you're putting in a screw, or if it's at nighttime, you'll have a little LED that will shine up to the project you're working on. Okay, so on the One side you have your standard belt clip, and that just comes in a package when you get your drill driver. So you just put that on one screw, and then on the opposite side, that is where you put your bit. Now the old models used to have a piece on the back where you snapped your bit into on the back side, so it was a little weird for me to have it on the side. Kind of a little concerned that this might catch while I'm working, but who knows, it might be all right. I mean, this seems to do just fine. And then of course on the bottom you have your battery and your shoe to mount the battery on. So kind of your standard setup for the batteries. I do like how they made it smaller, but they also kept the base the same between tools so that you could reuse the batteries. So if you had older batteries, newer batteries, they all will go on the base. So good job, RIDGID, for keeping the mount system the same, so we don't have to go through different types of batteries over time. And that's pretty much it for features on this tool. It looks really nice. It has good balanced weight, even with the 4 amp hour on it. It seems to have a good balance in your hand and perform really well. So without further ado, let's jump into the hands-on. So I'll take some bits, and I have some Spade bits that will run through some boards to give you an example of this in performance. So let's jump into that now. Hands-on. Okay, so here we are with our hands on. I'm just gonna put a screw in, nothing too fancy. Just wanted to show you how it does with just regular screws. Starting off, normally I use my impact because that'll sink anything, but I just wanted to show you this can be used as just a regular drill for drilling screws, and then we'll get into some different types of bits, different sizes of bits, and we'll get into a couple of bigger drill bits. So let's jump into that. So I'll just take the bit out of here, put my impact over here, and then let's try this driver. Swap out the bit, new bit. All right, so we'll just sink a screw. I'll just show you. This is on setting 1, and I have it on drill setting. So that did that no problem whatsoever. Very easy, very fast. This is a regular deck screw, so that was no problem on speed 1 on drill setting. All right, let's jump into our next test. We will do a drill bit. So let's put that in there. Be our next test. I really like this chuck system because it's way nicer than the previous generation. This one is a lot harder to deal with. For some reason, it doesn't lock and unlock as smooth. I really like the SubCompact version that they came out with, but it's like anything, technology, it gets better. They improve in the different mechanics on the inside, so it's just a smoother setup. All right, let's put this drill bit through, see what this does. No problem. Good to go. All right, let's bring that up another level. See if this one can go through just as easy. You can see it's a good size drill bit. No problem. Went through there very easy. I backed it out each time to remove the sawdust. So that was that test. All right, let's jump into a spade bit. See how that does. Should do very well. All right. Make sure that's lined up in there just fine. All right, back on drill, speed 2. Let's do speed 1 first, see how that does. All right, that's doing well, but it's a little slow. Let's go to speed 2. Beautiful. And as you can tell, that's really thick, and that went through there really easy. And that's a 1-inch. All right, do 1 1/4. Try that. Beautiful. Went through that very easy, no problem. Now, near I got to the end, I would have flipped that over once I seen the piece poke through on the end, the triangle piece, so that I wouldn't shred the bottom. You get a lot of tear out that way, so as soon as you see the metal tip go through, you want to flip it over, and then that would be your center to start with. So that's just a tip if you're using this for an actual project and you don't want that tear out. All right, let's jump into another bit that I have here. Okay, so this product is made by Irwin, and these are easy speed bits. I think that's the right name for them. If not, I'll put the name below. And yeah, they're made for electrical, if you're doing electrical work and you need bigger holes. They're essentially the same principle as the bit I was just using, but in this case you can see there's a corkscrew on the end. See if I can bring that a little closer. There's a corkscrew on the end, and then there's 3 teeth, and it's in a fin pattern, so when you go through it, the shavings will actually come out all the sides, which is really cool build, and it works very well. That's how I did the electrical in the shop. All right, so let's give this a go. It's on drill mode. Setting 1, we'll do 1 first, and then we'll do 2 once we get going. Man, that went through there like it was nothing. That's pretty awesome. At the time, I didn't have this drill, so I did say there were some limitations to my previous drill, which is here. This is the Gen 5X. I do have a review on this one on my channel, but I couldn't really get the power that I needed for these easy bits, so I had to get this subcompact instead. So I did run into an issue where this couldn't handle that extra power and the capabilities, taking the wood out of a hole, and we're talking like a lot of wood to remove from a hole at once, whereas a regular drill bit or even a smaller one, my old drill could handle just fine. So if it handles your needs, there's no need to upgrade, but if you want the extra power, this would be the way to go. So let's do another hole. As you can see, those chips, that thing ate that up like it was nothing. We'll do one more. All right. So as you can see there, basically I put every type of bit that I have at this machine. I do have some other types of bits, ones for metal, etc. But you can see clearly it went through this thick piece of stock, and this is rough milled, so it's very solid. It did it no problem. I'm actually very impressed. You do have to be careful on this tool if you put it in level 2, because as soon as this particular bit grabs the 3 teeth, it can actually grab your wrist, and there's a chance that you could hurt yourself. This tool is very powerful, and it's like any drill that you use. Make sure you read and follow the manual and the directions, you know, as the manual states, and of course wear your safety glasses when you're doing these types of projects using any tools. Okay, so now that we have the hands-on, let's jump into the final thoughts, whether or not you should buy this tool, and basically why did I upgrade between my old drill and this new SubCompact. So I'll just share a little bit of why I bought this new drill. All right, let's jump into that now. Thanks for watching today's video. I hope you learned a little bit about the SubCompact series and the overall performance and some of the specs that you might have not known from before. This drill is quite powerful. It is brushless, so you don't have to worry about doing the brushes over time. And you know, all the way around, it is a great performer in your shop. Now, I did share that I had the older generation at the first. Now, this is in comparison video, but basically at the end of the day, why do I own this one? Well, I ran into a couple of issues with performance that this drill couldn't handle. I was running some easy speed bits that you've seen in the hands-on, and this drill here does a fantastic job working with the wood, whereas this drill, just because of its age, it definitely ran into some speed issues. And at one point when I was running my electrical through the garage here, the shop rather, I ran into quite a bit of issue, and the bit actually stalled and stopped, so this drill just couldn't keep up performance. So then I jumped into this SubCompact, and the performance, as you can see previous, is bar none. It works great. Now, I must point out, at the end of the day, if you still have this generation or even an older one and it still meets your needs, you definitely don't need to go out and buy something newer, because at the end of the day, I have the LSA on this old product, so it's going to last forever. The parts, if anything happens to it, you know, it still works just fine. I can bring it in and they will repair it. So like I said, I just jumped into the SubCompact because this couldn't do the job that I needed it to do. So if it's your shop and this is outperforming or underperforming rather, I would jump into the SubCompact very, very quickly. However, like I said, if this one is doing everything you could ask of it, if it's countersinking, if it's doing drill bits, holes through boards, basically it's keeping up with your current shop needs, I wouldn't dive into this, just because of the money at the end of the day. If you're like me and budget's a concern, a lot of us small shop owners, you know, this is a hobby, it's not a business. so there's no tax write-off or things that we can claim. We do have to be picky and wise about the products that we use in our shop. So at the end of the day, this is an amazing drill, the SubCompact lineup. I have a 1/2 inch impact that I'm going to do a review on once the weather gets a little nicer. I got to take the tires off my vehicle and switch them, so I'll be able to do a review for the SubCompact impact. But for now, we're just going to focus on this particular tool and just kind of the benefits. So at the end of the day, would I recommend this SubCompact drill? And the answer is yes. I would definitely recommend, as long as it's not impeding on, like I said earlier, this drill here for your needs. So once again, thanks for watching today's video. And if you haven't already and you'd like to be part of the Shop Talk family, just click on that subscribe button down below. Appreciate having you on board to talk shop, talk tools, and really anything to do with carpentry in your shop. And maybe you're looking into this tool and you're not too sure whether it's a good purchase or not. There's lots of information online, and I will dig up any information that I haven't listed here if you'd like further information. So once again, make sure you register your tools, whether it's your older ones when you first get them or your newer ones with the online. You have 90 days, that's the LSA, and as long as you can pull the trigger on your tool, and even your batteries are included in that lifetime service agreement. So you can't go wrong with that. And once I said, doesn't matter how big or how small your shop is, just get out and have fun and enjoy your time out there with your tools. And it doesn't matter the brand. I know I talk a lot about RIDGID, and that's the brand that I primarily use, but whether it's Milwaukee, Mastercraft, Jobmate, Ryobi, the list goes on and on. Just pick the tool that works for you, the battery lineup that works for you, and get out in your shop and just enjoy it. Have yourself a great day, and I will see you on the next video.